Hi, everybody. Oh, okay. Full disclosure here. I've done so many videos, I can't remember everything I've covered. So if this is a repeat, I'm sorry. But I'm going to try to come at it from a different angle. I wanted to talk about this a couple of days ago, but I just keep forgetting because other things become more precedent. So, you know. Also, I wanted to let everybody know that I finally, like, it took a little bit, but I finally figured out what was wrong with my DVD player, why it wasn't playing. So now I have access and everything's working. So from now on out, I have more reviews of movies and things because it's working again. Okay, so this one is a one that I have the DVD right here actually, and I've seen the movie a bunch of times anyway. But this was on my list when Harry Met Sally, because I've seen it a bunch of times, but I didn't have it on DVD till now. Um, okay, now this movie is what you would call a retro. Uh, okay, it stars Meg Ryan, Billy Crystal, Carrie Fisher and Bruno Kirby are your main actors. Now, sadly, we've lost Carrie Fisher and Bruno Kirby. Meg Ryan is still acting, although she came back from a long time not acting, and she's in a new romantic comedy with David Duchovny from The X Files. Okay. Billy Crystal, on the other hand, has been involved with comic relief for years with Robin Williams and Whoopi Goldberg, and had a successful film career of his own, and also written a book. Um, I think it's 700 Sundays, um, where he details life lessons, that kind of a thing. Okay. So this movie is the movie that put Meg Ryan on the map, and Billy Crystal was supporting her or whatever. I think it's pretty obvious he was the more successful of the two at the time. So, like always, they like to have a mega name on the bill, and usually what they do is they take a person who's known and they kind of help the other unknown or new ingenue, whatever, to number one, get on the map and be recognized and all that stuff. However, when it's your first movie, you're not really sure if it's going to get any traction. Therefore, that's kind of the unknown in the scenario. Um, the reason why I call this movie retro is two reasons. It was made in the 80s, and the hairstyles depict that. Uh, Meg Ryan in her beginning scene was in very big curls. Um, and and then Billy Crystal also had the big hair for a guy. Um, so yeah, it was totally 80s. And then Carrie Fisher plays her best friend, and Bruno Kirby plays his best friend. And the ironic part, obviously, is okay, well, there's two of them. When Harry and Sally meet each other, they really dislike each other, almost to the point of hatred. Everything he does, she dislikes. Everything she does, he can't stand. So you think there's no way they'll have any romantic feelings whatsoever. And they don't, honestly, in that first meeting. But however, this story is one of the best romantic comedy stories, whatever, I've seen in a long time. And believe me, I've seen a lot. Because they all have the same trajectory of boy meets girl, girl meets boy, whatever. They separate, and somehow magically they come back together, and everything's solved in a 2 to 3 hour period. This one is the best one I've seen in a long time because Two reasons, I think. Well, three, really. No matter what, the story holds up because everybody can relate to it on some level. Number two, it's got one of the most famous scenes ever in any movie. Um, okay. The scene I'm referring to is the scene where Meg Ryan fakes um, pleasure at a restaurant and where he thinks it's a real. So he goes, "Oh my God." And then she does everything you're supposed to do, right? And then she returns her face to the neutral position. And he's like, "Oh my God." And then what's funny is the next woman who's being waited on says, "I'll have what she's having." That by far is the most known and whatever repeated scene and line ever in a movie. If you say that one line, everybody knows what you're talking about. So, okay. But another reason why it stands the test of time is because it actually goes through time. Meaning, okay, they meet on a trip to college where they're going to college, different colleges, so that's when they meet. Then they meet 5 years later. Then they meet another 5 years later. And then they meet like 2 years after that. Because the reason why I know the time span is not just because I watched the movie, because the very end scene of the whole movie, he says, "Yeah, we fell in love and it only took 3 days or 3 months." And she says, "Well, no, technically 12 months, 12 years, 3 months, and whatever, like so many days." So it took them 12 years to fall in love with each other. 12 years. Mm-hmm. So that proves that if you meet somebody today, then don't write them off because they might be the love of your life. Only it might take a while for either one of you to realize that. And I say that this is personal to me, my opinion. If you meet somebody, don't judge them based on their first meeting, number one. Number two, try to meet someone who challenges you in whatever way, because for me, that's the best relationship starters. So, yeah, but, okay. So then it's really cool because, okay, another funny part of the movie is the fact that Harry and Sally are unbeknownst to the chemistry they have. They just see it as friendship. So, in the interest of friendship, uh, she sets up her best friend with him, and he sets up his best friend with her. Okay, so there's the guy Bruno Kirby trying to date Meg Ryan, and then Carrie Fisher and Billy Crystal trying to meet each other, right? So what's really weird is that they go on this weird, awkward date where, as an audience member, by this point, you're like, why don't you just go out with each other? Number one. Then, number two, when they're on the date and they're asking the obvious questions of, like, where are you from? Whatever, like, where are you from? What do you do? Whatever. Those kind of things. Okay. There is zero chemistry between the two people they want to be together, try to get together, whatever. And all this chemistry between Harry and Sally, obviously, but then also Carrie Fisher and Bruno Kirby, because he just so happens to have written an article that she read in a magazine, and she quotes his article back to him. So if you believe in love at first sight, that coupling right there is the epitome of love at first sight. Because, first of all, they extricate themselves from the situation and they start dating there immediately and start dating there from then on. Then, say 6 months later, maybe they're engaged and Carrie Fisher's looking for a wedding dress. And then, they get married. Well, of course, they move in together first because, and then obviously Harry and Sally are there for everything, right? So, so then another funny scene in the movie is Bruno Kirby's character has a wagon wheel coffee table. So he's trying to plead, please can I keep my coffee table, and she's like, no, I don't want it. And then she's like, why? And then and then the next scene after that is you because Harry and Sally have been through a thing and they're fighting or whatever, right? About I forget exactly what, right? So he's like, Harry is like, you better put your name on everything now because this was when Harry was going through a divorce from his first wife, the attorney. Okay, so then he says, you better put your name on your stuff now because next thing you know, you'll be going 12 rounds over a stupid Roy Rogers garage sale coffee table, a wagon wheel coffee. Yeah. So all the lines are classic. So if you want to laugh no matter what, like if you had a bad day, look into watching at least, give it one watch, When Harry Met Sally. It's great. Okay.